This video is for the entertainment and education of grown-ups only. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, hello there, my friend. Welcome back. My name's Gavin. This here is my channel. If you like to cut through the sensationalism and the fluff in true crime and just get into the nitty-gritty, you found the right place. Glad you did. Thanks for being here. Hey, very sorry that I'm running late, almost 10 minutes late tonight. In about 20 minutes, I'm going to need to take a very short break. I've got a commitment that I need to take care of that has to do with some family issues. It's all good, but I'm going to be breaking for 30 seconds, a minute, something like that, while I take care of something, okay? Guys, thanks so much. There's so many of you that are new that we have been talking about. Oh my goodness, Lily and Jack, and we've been talking about Elisa. We've been talking about Judge Mullins. The case that we're talking about tonight is a new case for me. It happened quite a while ago, but I think it's important to talk about. Now, this is the case of the murder of Rosanna Kinzinger. Rosanna, from what I can tell, what I believe, having looked at Facebook comments and so forth, was a member of the Amish community in Meigs County, Ohio. So we don't have a photograph of her. I want to be extremely respectful of the community, especially in the comments, okay? Because the reality of things is that within every community there are criminals, and it is not a reflection on that community when criminals behave criminally. Okay, so please keep your comments super sensitive, super respectful as we dive into this case. This is not the first Amish case that we've dove. I don't know what the past participle or the past tense. I don't know. This is not the first Amish case that we've discussed here on the channel. Of course, we've been covering the murder of Rebecca Byler here in Western Pennsylvania, in Crawford County, Pennsylvania. And that one is steadily moving forward toward a trial, though I doubt the trial will ever happen. But anyway, so I just want all of us to be on our best behavior. I know you guys you're always on good behavior. You're awesome. How many? 128,515 of you. I just want to say it aloud. Probably didn't need to be said. Okay? Now, Ms. Kinzinger, again, we don't have a photo of her, so I have this picture, was 28 years old when her life was taken on March 13th, 2025. The person who has been charged in her murder is 18-year-old Samuel Hochstetler. Samuel, as you can see, is also a member of the Amish community. I understand that he was not originally from Ohio, that he was from Kentucky, but had made his way out there to Meigs County. We have a lot to go through tonight. I think the place that we should probably start is where the case began, which is the 911 call. So let's run over here. I will put on me old headphones and we will have a listen-y-poo to this. I don't think this is the full 911 call. I got it off of Law and Crime, and it was edited, and I kind of spliced it together, bumped up the volume a little bit so we can hear it okay. But I don't think that it is the entire 911 call. I think it's most of it. Here we go.
Meigs County 911.
And we got a death out here.
And what was your name? My name is Mose Pryor. The one that's dead is Rosanna Kinsinger. She's just found in a bed like that, so we don't know.
She's dead?
Huh?
She's dead?
She's dead.
Okay, what was your name again?
My name is Mose Troyer. So we were thinking we need a coroner out here, so I guess you know how to do that.
Okay, and what was her name?
Her name is Rosanna Kinsinger. Rosanna Kinsinger.
By the way, guys, the reason that I'm kind of apprehensive about whether or not she was a member of the Amish community is this is a picture of the house where she was found. This is, in my experience, living in Amish country and having several Amish acquaintances. This is atypical. This is an atypical Amish dwelling that we're looking at in the front yard. It looks like a mobile home. Now in the back, I can see a typical Amish dwelling, but this up front made me second guess. But this is the house that she was found in. Having a German last name and then reading some Facebook comments, I have come to the the decision that I'm comfortable that she likely was a member of that community. She was Amish.
How old is she, do you know?
Not exactly, but she's still in her 20s, I think.
Does she have a pulse or anything?
Pulse?
Yeah, is she breathing?
No, she's dead.
Okay.
She seems to be already stiff, so I think she's been dead early this morning or last night, and we didn't find it out.
I'm going to pause there as well. Just real quick, what he's talking about there is rigor mortis, right? There are several stages that our bodies go through after we pass. One of the early stages is rigor mortis. I think as somebody who likely farms, who processes animals, he likely hunts, he understands the process while he likely does not have an education in medico-legal death investigations. He understands what rigor is because he would encounter that in his normal life.
Okay. So you think she died last night or this morning?
Yeah. That's our guess.
So she's stiff?
Yeah.
Okay. And you just found her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Will they send a coroner out, or how will this be done?
We'll send them out to you. So you don't want to do CPR or anything?
I don't think so. You know, I don't think it's any use for that.
Okay.
You know, we just need what.
You know, that moment in the 911 call is a stark comparison between him and, say, Sam Goldberg when Ellen Greenberg was killed. Where, can you do CPR? I guess I have to, right? You know, something like that. Now, this is a guy who's calm. He probably is uncomfortable with the situation, but she's like, "You don't want to do CPR." I don't think that's necessary. I'm going to go back just a little bit here to that. It's like, where was that? Let me just pull that back just a little bit. Come over here. Here we go.
You don't want to do CPR or anything?
I don't think so. You know, I don't think it's any use for that.
Okay.
You know, we just need whatever's law or need to be done. You know, we just need some help, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
And then that is the end of what we have. So that's the 911 call that comes in. So Mr. Troyer apparently finds her in her home and she is dead. Okay, so let's go through. I'm just going to go through a quick timeline here since I've got it up. Okay, so she's found dead inside her home on Dye Road in Rutland Township, Meigs County, Ohio. Again, this is the photo of her. She's discovered by Mose Troyer, family friend. He went to check on her after she wasn't seen that day. She was found alongside her pet goat inside the home. Again, that would be pretty atypical, I would guess. Maybe not. Maybe it was a baby goat, or maybe, I don't know. But that seems pretty atypical. The initial assessment, the Meigs County Sheriff's Office figured it was a suspicious death. They ordered an autopsy. The Mr. Hochstetler, here's a mugshot of him. He was identified pretty early on as a person of interest. He was new to the community. He had just moved to the area. They had done several interviews. We don't have any of the search warrants or the probable cause affidavits to be able to really tell what helped investigators zero in on Mr. Hochstetler, but they did zoom in on him pretty quick. Okay? Not super quick, because it took until May 5th for him to be arrested. He was detained, interviewed by detectives. After the interview, he was arrested, and he was formally charged and booked into the Gallia County Jail. All right. On May 6th, on a Facebook post, Meigs Sheriff Fitch said this case was such a tragedy to those who knew Rosanna. She was a beloved individual in her community. That is another one that is kind of an indication that she was Amish. Her community. Detectives have worked around the clock searching for answers and were able to get those answers. Hopefully this investigation helps bring some closure to the victim's family, and on behalf of the Sheriff's Office, we offer our deepest condolences. He was arraigned that day on May 6th, and then on May 13th, he had a preliminary hearing. Now, thanks to Court TV, we have that preliminary hearing. So let me bring you over here. This is only about 5 minutes long, 6 minutes long. And let me just say, as we're watching this video, there's not much that's going to happen here, but it's important that they follow the process, right? I didn't bring up the photo. Before we watch this, I want to bring up this photo real quick. Dang it, where did I put that? Give me just a second. This is pretty important. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for being patient with me here, guys, but having a hard time here. Here we go. This is what it looked like behind him. Okay. The courtroom was chock full of people in the Amish community. I have been to one of these hearings where so many people from that community are there. They, in my experience, tended to be quiet, reserved, and just reverently watch what's going on. Does look like they have a couple of other friends, maybe some drivers in there with them, but you can kind of tell when he walked into that room, this is what he walked into. All right, coming back over here.
Courtney, just tell me what's wrong. This is State of Ohio versus Samuel Hostetler, CRA 25-145. Counsel in the courtroom, if you would please identify yourself for the record.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. James Steenley, Mexican prosecutor here in the state of Ohio.
All right, please report correctly on 116 Water Avenue, Pullman, Ohio, representing Mr. Samuel Hostetler.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, we're here today on a matter with Mr. Hostetler on about May 6, 2025, filed in the Meigs County Court on about May 6, 2025. This complaint alleged on or about 12 March 2025 in Meigs County, Ohio. Mr. Hostetler did violate Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.02, murder, an unclassified felony. Mr. Hostetler was previously arraigned in this court. A bond of $1 million cash was set to secure his appearance here today. Mr. Cleland was appointed counsel. And the purpose of our hearing here today, of course, is a preliminary hearing regarding this allegation. Trent, here in front of me, I have what appears to be a waiver signed by Mr. Hostetler. Is that your client's intention, Ms. Adams?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Hostetler, I have here an open court. So you're sitting here, and I have by phone.
I'm going to pause here for a second because the judge just brought up the waiver of the preliminary hearing. Let's just go over what the prelim is. A preliminary hearing is it's a court proceeding where the prosecution gets to make a case to a judge that they have probable cause to charge the defendant. We've seen this in lots of different cases, right? And then the judge can determine whether or not they have probable cause to charge the defendant. What he just said was, I have a waiver here waiving your right to a preliminary hearing. So in that hearing, there would be testimony, all sorts of things, including perhaps Mr. Troyer and anybody that was with him when they discovered Ms. Kinzinger. So he's not going to have a full preliminary hearing because he's waived that right if you missed it. Okay, we'll continue.
A Thomas Beachy, correct, Mr. Beachy?
That is correct.
Okay. I was advised potentially that in addition to English, you spoke Pennsylvania Dutch. Okay, so I made arrangements to have an interpreter join us here today for this hearing.
Pennsylvania Dutch, by the way, guys, is way closer to German than it is Dutch. I don't know why we call it Dutch. Probably because they said Deutsch, and then the rest of people are like, oh, Dutch. But it's a Germanic. It has changed quite a lot in the 300 or 400 years that the Amish community has been in the United States. So it is now its own. I would call it. I wouldn't even call it a dialect. I would call it like a pidgin of German. I'm not a linguist, but that's what I would call it.
Do you feel that you can proceed
No, probably a Creole. Doesn't matter. Here we go.
here today in English, or do you wish Mr. Beachy to be here to interpret for you in Pennsylvania Dutch?
I think I can do it, but it might be easier for them to
Okay. Do you wish him to remain here on the line with us?
if it's not too hard.
Okay, well,
Okay, when I watched that, I thought that was really emblematic of the Amish community in general. It's like, yeah, it would be easier for me to do it in Pennsylvania Dutch. Well, should we keep him on the line then? Well, if it's not a burden to you, yeah, that would, he doesn't want to overburden the court. We're going to get into why, well, we're going to get into a little bit more. I'll stop
in here, so we'll use it, okay? All right. So, Mr. Beachy, what I'm going to suggest is if you would simply listen to what I say, and if Mr. Hostetler has any trouble understanding, perhaps you could explain that to him in Pennsylvania Dutch. Would that be okay?
That would be perfectly satisfactory. The interpreter will wait until he is prompted for help.
Thank you very much. James, is that all right with the state?
Yes.
Trent, I'll let you finish. Very well. Okay, so Mr. Hostetler, you understand what you're charged with, correct? Okay, and you met with your attorney before coming here to the courtroom, correct? Yeah, okay, all right. You understand you have a right to a preliminary hearing this afternoon, and further, you understand that I have in front of me what appears to be a waiver of that right here this afternoon, correct? All right, I'm gonna ask you here in open court, sir, is that your signature on the waiver?
I can't really read it. I'm pretty sure it's the paper you had.
Okay, well, I want you to look at it and just confirm that you did sign that document, all right?
That's your signature?
Okay, thank you, Chairman. Thank you, sir. All right, so Mr. Hostetler, based upon the fact that you've had the chance to talk to counsel here this afternoon, I'm going to make a finding that with full knowledge of your rights and voluntarily here today, you are waiving your right to this preliminary hearing. Do you understand that? All right. Furthermore, your case is going to be bound over here to the common pleas court for further consideration by its grand jury. Do you understand that?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So what's going to happen is your case is going to be bound over to this court, to the common pleas court, where your case can go.
They're in a district court right now. Hey guys, talk amongst yourselves. I need just a moment just to address something real quick. I will be right back. All right, thank you very much for having that patience with me. All right, let's continue. What should be happening here is he should have his translator talking, but all right, here we go.
To grand jury to be considered for indictment, or it can proceed directly in front of Judge Warner. Do you understand that? Okay. James, do you desire any further inquiry regarding Mr. Hostetler?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. Frank, do you desire any further inquiry of your client?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you, sir.
All right. The bond is previously set. $1 million shall continue. Anything else, James, on behalf of the state of Ohio?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor, thank you.
Brent, anything more on behalf of your client?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Hostetler, we're all done here this afternoon. Thank you for being here. Mr. Beachy,
Yes.
with that, we will be all done. You have my contact information. Please send me an invoice for your services, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. The interpreter will do that.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm going to hang up.
Thank you. Bye.
Courtney, if you'll close the record.
That's pretty much it. So he waives his right. I do like
Thank
this.
you all.
Watch this.
Good luck, Mr. Hostetler.
Good luck, Mr. House. There's something about, there's just something about the decorum of court and the respect that the court gives to defendants that are even charged with the most heinous of crimes. Good luck, Mr. Hostetler, as he moves from his district court into another court. So what just happened there? Well, he waived his right to a preliminary hearing, and it moves on toward the grand jury. And this happened on the 13th of this month. Of last month, I'm sorry. So about 3 weeks ago is when that happened. Now let's run over real quick to a couple documents that I have prepared for you guys. These are documents that have been made available through the Meigs County Court. There's one document that I wanted to get my hands on. I did request it today. It was not available through the website, and that is the warrant, which I believe would have the probable cause affidavit. But in the absence of that, there still are some things. So this is the commitment of Mr. Hotstetler. That's sending him to jail. That happened on the 6th of May. He's charged with murder. Man, my new mouse is sensitive. So, and then the bond was set at $1 million cash only. So no bail bondsman, cash, $1 million. And they do that in the serious cases. Okay. Also filed that day is, what is this? This gives us information. This is the charge, right? This is the complaint against Mr. Hotstetler. Typically, when we read complaints, they are long, they are detailed. This one is brief. Okay. The complainant, being duly sworn, states that Samuel L. Hotstetler at Meigs County, Ohio, on or about the 12th of March, 2025. And then it says, no person shall purposefully cause the death of another or the unlawful termination of another's pregnancy. To wit, this information is believed to be true and accurate because Samuel Hotstetler did confess. He confessed. This guy, which I think is, I want everybody to avail themselves of their rights. I'm sure he was told that he had a right to remain silent, but I think that the guilt was probably getting to him, and he decided to confess to Sergeant Tracy and Lieutenant Campbell that he did have sexual intercourse with Rosanna Kinzinger and put a blanket over her head during and when he was finished. He rolled her over and realized she was not alive. So it sounds to me like his confession was that it happened accidentally. So that means that he probably has a defense. He probably could maybe plea down to lesser charge, second-degree murder, maybe manslaughter. Some states they call it third-degree murder. It does seem to me that he's just saying, I put a blanket over her head. I didn't realize that she wasn't alive until we were done. That is what the document appears to say. It's signed by, I think, Sergeant Tracy, the complainant. Is the complainant Sergeant Tracy? It's really hard to tell on this form, but I think so. Yes, Sergeant KJ Tracy. Next one, we had the preliminary hearing. This is his, this is the form for the preliminary hearing. State of Ohio charged that the defendant committed the following offenses: murder, Ohio Revised Statute 2903.02, complaint amended from felony of the first degree to unclassified felony. That's typically what they do out here in the East with murder charges. In homicide is typically in a league of its own when it comes to the classification. There were several subpoenas that were issued for Tuesday, May 13th at 2 p.m., which would have been the preliminary hearing. So this one was sent to the lieutenant, to the sergeant, to the assistant coroner, to Dr. Daniel Whiteley. I don't know who he is. Maybe he is the person who did the autopsy. There's several subpoenas that were issued, that were released. And then I want to go to this, okay? On May 22nd, the Meigs County Prosecuting Attorney, their website does not really work. But you know what does work? Their Facebook page. And this was posted on the Facebook page on May 22nd. It said, Samuel Hochstetler indicted for homicide, the terrible, terrible R word, kidnapping, and this offense. He was arraigned. The arraignment, that would be a formal arraignment. So there would be an arraignment in the district court and then a formal arraignment in the common pleas court after the indictment. Okay. Meigs County Prosecuting Attorney James K. Stanley, we saw him in that video, announces that on May 22nd, 2025, a special session of the Meigs County Grand Jury indicted Samuel Hochstetler, 18, of Rutland, Ohio, for aggravated murder, an unclassified felony pursuant to that code for murder. So aggravated. Oh, yes. So the aggravated count would come into play because it was in the commission of another felony, which the indictment would say that would be the SA of the victim, Ms. Kinzinger. So aggravated murder, then murder. Let's see. Two counts of murder for some reason. It looks like they just have two different codes that apply. I should have looked those up. Maybe I will. For the R word, for these, yeah, okay. The grand jury also returned, it was sexual motivation. These charges stem from the March 12th, 2025 death of Rosanna Kinzinger on Dye Road just outside Harrisonville at CPO Township, Meigs County, Ohio. On May 5th, 2025, after a nearly 2-month investigation, Hochstetler was arrested and charged with murder in Meigs County Court. On May 6th, he made his initial appearance in Meigs County Court, where Judge Michael Barr set a bond at $1 million. We did not see that one. On May 13th, that's the one we saw, he appeared for a preliminary hearing, which he waived, and the case was bound over to the Meigs County Court of Common Pleas for grand jury consideration. Hochstetler will be arraigned by Judge Warner, the Common Pleas Court, on May 23rd, which happened. Okay, so the case was investigated by Meigs County Sheriff's Office, the Major Crimes Task Force, the Coroner's Office, and the Montgomery County Coroner's Office. The other thing that I want to show you is the following day, a trial was scheduled. So we read all that. Judge Warner scheduled an initial pretrial hearing for June 26th, 1 p.m., final pretrial hearing and motions for July 22nd at 2 p.m., jury trial on July 29th at 8 a.m., bond remains set at $1 million, and then same thing that we saw before. Now, of course, we all know that these dates get pushed pretty frequently. In this case, allegedly, Mr. Hochstetler confessed, but will that confession stick, or will there be some motions made by the defense after discovery and so forth in order to get their client into a better position to maybe negotiate for a lower charge? I do not know. The last thing that I want to show you, come with me over to crimetimelines.com. These guys are amazing. On May 14th, Rosanna Kinzinger's father, Moses Kinzinger, spoke with WSAZ. They did not record him, neither his face nor his voice. Instead, a reporter stated what he said. Moses Kinzinger shared that Rosanna was an outgoing, friendly person who liked being around people, and her death was shocking. He was not aware of any problems between his daughter and Mr. Hochstetler, and he hopes Hochstetler is repentant. The family wants to forgive him, and through God there is forgiveness. And that reminds me, years and years and years ago, in Pennsylvania, long before we lived here, there was a horrible crime where a deranged and sick person went into a schoolhouse in an Amish community and murdered many children and their teacher as well. I think this was 20 years ago by now. And the Amish folks, I'm paraphrasing and I won't say it perfectly, but they put it out there that they hoped that the person who did this would be forgiven by God. And I'm sure there are a lot of you that are watching right now that don't feel that don't want any part of that want justice in this world. I feel that for sure. But there is something about somebody who will not keep hate in their heart. There's just something magical and fantastic about that I really admire. And I've told this story before too, but last year or early this year, time runs away from me. I can't remember, but I think it was late last year, I covered a trial in Clarion County, Pennsylvania, where out in the rural sticks of Clarion County, a man was killed by a deranged psychopath, in my opinion. And at the sentencing hearing, his widow, who was in her 70s, stated that she had nothing but hate in her heart anymore. And it just absolutely broke my heart to hear that. So, having read and listened to the report of what Mr. Kinzinger said, that is something that I strive toward. It's not something that I have yet, but I strive toward it. All right, let's, in the absence of Ms. Kinzinger's photo, let's bring this up. Very curious what you guys have to say. And let's see what you're doing. One man's trash. Gavin, are you okay? No, I'm having a hard day. I'm having a really hard day, but I'm doing my best, and I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to be with you guys. Let me scroll up here. Okay. We all have hard days. It's okay. Perfectly fine. Elizabeth says, thank you for covering this. This is one that should be covered, for sure. Susan Lewis said, both dived and dove are acceptable. Okay. I need to remember that. Dived or dove. It's definitely not doved, right? Thank you for the grammar lesson. My goodness. Mooney says, the juxtaposition of that photo of the young man with background naming the jail is quite alarming. Two things that just never go together. Yeah. I mean, it is alarming when something like this happens in this community. And I recognize I'm not naive. I cover all sorts of crime in an area where people from these kinds of communities, religious orders and so forth, live, and in some cases really thrive. I'm around it all the time, and I know. But it does, there is a cognitive dissonance there, right? It makes it just even more, just even more striking. Alarming, like you said, Mooney. Alarming. All right, let's see. Keep on scrolling. Hey, Shay, happy birthday. Glad you're here to share it with us. Very cool. Tony Miller, I heard something that he came from another Amish community that was having problems with him there, maybe just fluff, I don't know. I was wondering about Rumspringa, right? I mean, he's that age. Was he having... Well, first off, people who are criminals are criminals. They just are. It's really hard to break out of that cycle, too. There are people that do, and it's wonderful. But there are some people that are just criminals. And is it possible that Mr. Hochstetler is that? Yeah, it's possible. Possible that he's having maybe crises of faith. He wants out. That's possible. 100%. Sure. There's a lot of possibilities here. And it might be a little fluffy, but we're cutting through it. Thanks, Tony. Let's see. Beachy Life Stuff says, yes, she was Amish. The group in that area have more lenient rules on some things. I wish I was Amish in a couple counties over. Okay, well, Beachy Life Stuff, thank you very much for helping us out on that. Let me just scroll on down. So much conversation that's going on. So cool. Susan says, this is a very patient, very understanding judge. Yeah, I mean, I'll reiterate what I said before. I go to court hearings all the time where sometimes I'll go to these hearings where it's just a day of hearings. Each one is like 5 minutes long, but it starts at 9 a.m., goes to noon, and at 1 o'clock it starts again and goes to 5, right? And so many people that are allegedly perpetrating so many stupid crimes. I mean, I'm talking like the petty stuff, the thefts and the, I don't know, running over garden gnomes with lawnmowers and DUIs, which are not petty in my opinion, but those just over and over and over again. And the professionalism that the judges and prosecutors and defense attorneys have in my area is just remarkably impressive. It's just impressive. And I think that this judge did a very good job. Just, hey, this is what you're accused of, and let's get through the process and make sure that you understand. Yep, okay, well, you're done with me. Heading over to the Court of Common Pleas. Best of luck to you, sir. That was pretty cool. WT says, Gavin, not that this has any bearing on the case, but this young man lost 5 siblings by drowning in Bath County, Kentucky in 2020 flooding. Hey, WT, I did not find anything about that myself, which doesn't mean anything other than I didn't find it. If you have that information, would you provide it to me? Head on over to gavinfish.com. Let me bring you there. Just go over to gavinfish.com. There's always a link down below. Click on this little icon right here, and that will take you to a form where you can reach out. Okay? While you're there, check out the Crime Cod articles that are being written by my happy-go-lucky group of volunteers. Pretty amazing. But yeah, give that to me, will you? D'Artagnan O'Hara. Yeah, he's going to have to be moved to a Pennsylvania Amish court. They're going to take jurisdiction. He better hope not. An Amish prisoner will do physically hard labor every day. I have never heard of a Pennsylvania Amish court. Never heard of it. Is that even am I just living in my own, let me see. Yeah, there's no Amish court in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Interesting comment. Okay. No, there will be no Amish jurisdiction. There is no Amish. It's not like it happened on a reservation or something. These are all Amish farms that are purchased as, as part of the community. I mean, yeah, it's not a thing that there's a separate jurisdiction. We keep on going. Kel, aka KG, Gavin, it has been reported that he had a beef, moved from another community. I wonder what behavior is in his history. Really sad for the victim and her loved ones. Yeah, I wonder if it's something that you're the second person to have said that. I wonder if it's a matter of My son is out of control. Can Uncle Jameis help? I don't know. Uncle Mose. I don't know. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but you know what I mean. Mooney, did he force himself on her, though? Well, the charge indicates that the state of Ohio believes so. So, I mean, the fact that there's an aggravated murder charge and that they did say, I mean, and there's an R-word charge, right? Yeah, I would say so. So I think that, well, it'll be interesting to see what the defense does. To me, it feels like this guy's going to go, oh, let's just get over with. We don't want a trial. Just, yeah, let's get me the rest of my life, wherever it is that I'm going. Keep going. You guys are awesome. Was she pregnant? Could that be the second murder charge? Tell you what, let's take a moment and go over to that charge. Where was that? Okay. So Ohio Revised Code. Yeah. So we're going to go to Ohio Revised Code, this one. Let me look it up real quick. And I'm gonna bring you over there. Okay. So he's charged with this one and this one. Okay, so this is section 2903.02, the revised code in Ohio. Okay, so the first one, no person shall purposefully cause the death of another or the unlawful termination of another's pregnancy. B, no person shall cause the death of another as a proximate result of the offender's committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree that is not in violation of section 2903 or 2903.4 of the revised code. Okay, and then the aggravated one was 2903. Let's see, 2903.01. So no person. This is .03. Give me a second. .01. Aggravated murder. No person shall purposefully or with prior calculation or design cause the death of another or the unlawful termination of another's pregnancy. No person shall cause the death while attempting to commit, while fleeing, attempting to commit, or while fleeing immediately after committing, or to, so maybe that's it. Plus these, yeah, that's the aggravated part. So he's got this one, and then he's got this one and this one. Interesting that they have them separate like that. I mean, was there another felony besides? It doesn't seem like it, but I don't know. Veronica, this is why the law is a mystery to so many of us, including me, right? It seems to me that 2903.02b is the same thing as 2903.01. It seems like the same thing to me, but I do not think that she was pregnant. But, yeah, interesting. All right. Elizabeth Smith, I'm not understanding. Will this be turned over to the Amish jurisdiction? No, there is no Amish jurisdiction. It will stay in the Court of Common Pleas in the state of Ohio. Keep on going. Just refreshed. A second. Okay. Thank you for the hugs and the mushy happy vibes and prayers. Thank you very much. And thank you everybody. Kel says, forgiveness is such a difficult concept. As a victim of an awful childhood, it is difficult to imagine how that would work. Yeah. And here's the thing is that I have no judgment for those of us who can't do the full-on forgiveness. I am just really impressed by and in awe of those who can. Another example that I was thinking of that I've shared before, but friends of the family had a daughter who was killed by a drunk driver many, many, many years ago. And he was a young man, the driver. And at his sentencing, the parents of the victim, the girl who was killed, begged the judge not to throw the book at the young man, saying that their daughter's life was lost. They did not want another life lost too. And those are people that I look up to. So, yeah, it's tough. It is tough. This is interesting because by now I'm sure she is a shun. I don't know what you mean. Thanks for the big hugs, Autumn. Guys, I appreciate you. It's been a tough afternoon. Veronica, I do not think so. After reading the law, which I barely understand, I don't think so. This case reminds me of Perry Smith and Richard Hickok by waiving their rights. No Amish court, but his elders will have a meeting to vote to be shunned from the community. Oh, yeah, I'm sure that will happen. Yeah. Uncle Jebediah. I've never actually met an Amish man named Jebediah. But thanks to Weird Al, that's what I think of. Yeah, thanks. Deanna, how do I say it? Deanna? Deanna. It's Deanna. Thank you very much for the laugh, having thought of Weird Al there for a second. Tony says, I think maybe you can forgive someone and also want them to face their judgment for their actions. 100%. 100%. That's a great comment, Tony. Yeah, the elders can call for a meeting for disfellowship. I don't know how they do it, but I imagine that it's something like that. Thank you, Shay. I appreciate it. You guys, great comments tonight, and thanks for keeping things classy. You always do. Thanks to our mods led by Autumn for keeping things classy. I will keep an eye on this case. You know what's funny is that we're getting to a point here on the channel where I think I'm going to be able to probably pull back my time commitment at my day job pretty soon, next little while, which means I'm going to be able to cover the court proceedings of some of the cases that I've covered. Like, I know right now that Gisela is covering Sade Robinson's killer's case, the trial, and that's a case that I reported on in the beginning that I wish that I had the time to cover. But maybe this case and some other cases that we've been talking about will be some that I'm able to cover here on the channel, which is pretty awesome. All right, guys, we are going to be back for the last video of the week tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Oh, Gavin, what the devil, man? Gavin, I really would like to thank my researchers, Kelsey and Susan, for all their work getting stuff for me on this case. They're awesome. Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you, Susan. Thank you for volunteering to be a researcher. If anybody else has any, I don't know, desire to be a researcher, or especially if you already have some skills on getting public documents, things like that, I'd love to have you join my team. That would be great. Just reach out to me through my website, gavinfish.com. Showed that to you a little earlier. Just go to gavinfish.com, click on this little button right here, okay? and I will have one of, it's probably going to be Autumn reach out. Okay. Also, while you're here, click on this little fishy right up there. That will take you to the fish tank where we're hanging out on Facebook. If Facebook's your thing and you want to hang out with us there, I invite you to do that. Just look for the fish tank on Facebook or click the link on my website. As you guys know, I'm going to be in London this coming weekend with my lovely wife. Going to be speaking at CrimeCon UK. We're going to be talking about the case of Ellen Greenberg, which I'm really looking forward to. So I will not be here past tomorrow, but I do have some things queued up to show you guys while I'm gone. Plus, I'll be checking in on social media. So you can get all my socials on my website. I'm blabbing. This is called the PA Ramble, everybody. So thanks for being here. I hope to see you tomorrow. And until then, I bid you adieu. Good night. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.